There's a house we can build. Every room inside is filled with things from far away. The special things I compile, each one there to make you smile on a rainy day. They can say it all sounds crazy. They can say we've lost our minds. I don't care if they call us crazy. Run away to a world that we design. Every night I lie in bed, the brightest colors fill my head. A million dreams are keeping me awake. I think of what the world could be, a vision of the one I see. A million dreams is all it's gonna take. Oh, a million dreams for the world we're gonna make. There's a house we can build. Every room inside is filled with things from far away. special things I compile, each one there to make you smile on a rainy day. They can say it all sounds crazy. They can say we've lost our minds. I don't care if they call us crazy. Run away to a world that we design. Every night I lie in bed, the brightest colors fill my head. A million dreams are keeping me awake. I think of what the world could be, a vision of the one I see. A million dreams is all it's gonna take. Oh, a million dreams for the world we're gonna make. There's a house we can build. Every room inside is filled with things from far away. The special things I compile, each one
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Huawei Innovation Day 2020. We are pleased to have you here today in Warsaw, a young, dynamic and innovative city, as well as the heart of Central and Eastern Europe. My name is Anna Butrym and I'm so proud to host this year's 2 days event, which theme is Together We Innovate for Future. We will focus on talents empowered by technologies and their contribution to the society. We are facing big challenges now, such as COVID, climate change, unbalanced medical and education resources. But on the other hand, we have more talented people than ever who will fight against all odds by the joint efforts. Today, it's my great pleasure to meet global education and innovation stakeholders virtually, including renowned professors, policymakers, business leaders, as well as the startup community. First of all, let's welcome Ms. Catherine Chen, Huawei Corporate Senior Vice President and Director of the Board, to give the opening speech.
Ladies and gentlemen, I'm Catherine Chen. This year marks the 8th Huawei European Innovation Day. This is the first time the event has been hosted in Poland, and this is also the first time the event has been hosted online. There is a Chinese poem that says, "Whether we are close or apart, we can still get to know each other like neighbors." Although the pandemic has kept us apart, it has also brought us even closer together. Polish culture is vibrant and has fostered the never-ending pursuit of great achievements. From this country, so many talented people were born. Nicholas Copernicus, Madame Curie, Frederick Chopin, and more than a dozen Nobel winners. Their theories and humanistic thinking have promoted social progress. Today, countries around the world are recognizing that digitalization is the future. The pandemic has accelerated digital and intelligent transformation across industries, but we will need explorers and innovators to build the digital world. Talent will be the foundation and the driving force of these changes, and so the development of talent is now a barrier to achieving digital transformation. According to 2017 estimates from the World Bank, we will need 10 million more ICT talents than we currently have in 10 years' time. We cannot expect everyone to be the next Copernicus or Chopin, but we can nurture the huge numbers of high-end talent that society and industry requires. Today, I would like to take this opportunity to talk about Huawei's talent development philosophy and how we put it into practice. First, we believe that talent must be cultivated in more than just universities. By turning to the corporate world, we can train talent that society and industry needs more efficiently and help translate theoretical research into practice. Take 5G as an example. In 2008, Erdo Erkan, a Turkish professor, published a paper on polo codes. In 2010, Huawei saw the potential of polo codes and had many researchers join Professor Erkan in his studies. In 2018, polo codes became an important part of 5G standards. Today, there are more than 90 million 5G users worldwide. It took about 10 years for 5G to go from an idea to commercial application. Tens of thousands of scientists and engineers from ICT companies around the world have contributed in the process. which in turn has trained more professionals to join the 5G industry. Looking back on history, we see that discoveries and technological inventions in natural science have acted as shining beacons, lighting the way forward and driving progress. As we face the future, we will continue to rely on research from universities to light up our way to the digital society. By the end of 2019, Huawei had worked with 900 universities worldwide. We invest more than $300 million into their research each year and directly sponsor the research of more than 300 professors with no strings attached. Second, Huawei believes that the training ICT talent is a long and arduous process. And so, we need to build an ecosystem to train talent that is based on open collaboration and sharing around the world. Talent and ideas both spring forth from meetings of the minds. The sparks generated during these exchanges of ideas will benefit all of humanity regardless of whose name is on them. Only through exchange and a lively talent ecosystem can we drive continuous industry growth. No one or two companies can build a complete talent ecosystem by themselves. We must work with partners to keep training more talent. Currently, Huawei works with multiple global training partners to provide training and certification services around the world. By the end of 2019, there were more than 110 Huawei authorized learning partners worldwide. Huawei has also partnered with more than 50 universities to create ICT academies. In Europe alone, we have set up Huawei Ict Academies with universities in 12 countries since 2011, including the UK, France, Germany, Romania, and Poland. Together, these programs train more than 100 ICT trainers and 1,500 students each year. Third, we believe the ICT industry still lacks strong female leadership. Huawei has long called for equal opportunities for women. Only through education and support can we equip women with the fundamental competitiveness that will be needed in the digital economy. According to the ITU, the ICT industry is still dominated by men in most countries, with women only accounting for 30% of IT technicians, 15% of ICT business managers, and 11% of ICT strategy and planning experts. We need to make the technology industry more accessible to women, either through college education or vocational training. Huawei's Seeds for the Future program was launched in 2008, in part to meet this goal. With a mission to cultivate local ICT talent, more than 30,000 students from over 500 universities across 126 countries have benefited from the program. The Seeds for the Future program has set a goal to increase the representation of women to 40%. Today, we are honored to have several brilliant Polish women here to speak with us. These entrepreneurs will discuss how we can create a better policy environment that will encourage women to join the technology industry and bridge the gender gap in schools and workplaces. At this event, we will also launch a European-wide partnership program to support the innovations made by women. 20 years ago, Huawei opened its first R&D center in Sweden to bring together industry and academia in the pursuit of innovation, marking Huawei's first step into Europe. 20 years later, we now have businesses in all European countries. The European market has been essential to our global business expansion, and we are proud of our own contributions to local economic prosperity. Currently, Huawei has more than 13,000 employees and 23 local R&D centers in Europe, and in 2019, Huawei contributed 16.4 billion euros to the EU's GDP. Over the past 20 years, Huawei has become a European company contributing to the development of local ICT industry, creating value and promoting digital ecosystems. Today, despite the challenges brought by COVID-19 and the uncertainties in our macro environment, we are as determined as ever to be in Europe and for Europe. Nicholas Copernicus said, "It is my loving duty to seek the truth in all things, insofar as God has granted that to human reason." Mankind's need to explore the future is eternal. Scientific and technological innovation benefit the whole world and all mankind. As the Polish saying goes, it is better to ask the way than to go astray. I think Huawei Innovation Day is a place where we can ask each other for directions. Together, we innovate for the future. This year, Huawei European Innovation Day will be held in multiple countries, and so I look forward to your continued participation in our dialogues and discussions. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Chen. Talent is the cornerstone not only for technology leadership, but also for the competence of the whole country. Next, let's welcome Mr. Michał Boni, Member of European Parliament, former Minister of Administration and Digitization, to give us insights on global and European digital challenges.
Dear guests, dear friends, thank you very much for invitation for this Innovation Day organized by Huawei. I think it's crucial when we are discussing about global and European challenges at the digital area, and at the same time want to establish the talent strategy for Poland. Why those digital challenges are so important at that time? The President of the European Commission, Ursula von der Leyen, expressed very strongly that the incoming decade will be digital decade. And there are three reasons of the importance of those digital challenges. Firstly, the fast development of artificial intelligence, which is crucial for the future, and there are many different attitudes all over the world. In Asian countries, in Pacific countries, there is a full support for artificial intelligence development. But in Europe, this is a rather combination of attitudes who are pro artificial intelligence development, as in Sweden, 60% people are thinking that this is a very good thing to develop artificial intelligence, and only 24 that this is the bad thing. And in France, this is a different situation. 47 people are saying that this is not good to develop artificial intelligence, and only 37 that it is a good thing. In Poland, 28% of people are against the development of artificial intelligence with many threats and fears, and 38% of people are looking at the development of artificial intelligence with hopes and are ready to adapt. The second issue, which is important for these digital challenges visible now in the current situation all over the world, is acceleration of the digital development regarding to the coronavirus 19. It's clear we experienced completely new phenomena: home working, home learning, home participation in many services. There are many new services, contents, and products, and they are drivers for the future digital development. And of course, if we want to continue it, and this is necessary, we need to ensure the most adequate infrastructure development, 5G in the future, on the one hand, and on the other, to make much more adjusted to the new requirements, legal and institutional framework when we are discussing about European Union. And the third issue, which is important, this is related to geopolitical challenges. It is visible how important is stronger competition, and it's normal also at the digital area. But when the United States is announcing some kind of digital Cold War, so I think it is a danger. So we need to understand how to behave under those circumstances. The response to the digital challenges described very briefly by me are important, of course, for Europe, for Central Eastern European countries, and for Poland. In Poland, and we can move to the first slide, we are lagging behind. This is Digital Economy and Society Index, multidimensional. It's related to connectivity, to the quality of human capital, to the use of internet services and integration of digital technology done by enterprises, and also the development of digital public services. And we are not leaders. We are not Finland, Sweden, Denmark, Netherlands. So there are many aspects of those digital tools and instruments and areas for future development. When we are looking at the next slide on public services, of course we are at a little better position, but we need to develop those digital public services because it is crucial for better communication and transparency in relations between citizens and all kinds of authorities from local to the governmental. When we are looking at the open data, which is also the key aspect of the digital development, in the next slide, I think that we are at a better position, and we need to develop it because it's important for citizens and also for business, because accessibility of open data can be the background for preparation of some new services using digital tools by also small enterprises. But when at the next slide we see that using of digital tools by enterprises in Poland is very low. 60% are using those instruments at the very low level, only 30% at the low, and 10% are using digital tools and instruments at the high level. So this is a real problem and challenge, and we need to change it if we want to catch up the digital development. Of course, we can observe many fantastic achievements. There are many great Polish IT companies. There are many startups ready to address blockchain offers to many sectors and many businesses. there is a development of e-commerce services. And also, I want to express the significance of investments done and brought by international companies, as Huawei, for example, especially at the area of production, but also at the area of R&D departments. It is crucial because it allows to use talented people and to make them much more talented, because when we are looking at the results of Polish students at the areas of digital sciences, they are very high in many Olympic Games, the digital issues and so on. But on the other hand, there are many young people who are going to Silicon Valley, are deciding to go to the international universities. So it is very important to focus on building the new digital human capital in Poland, and what should be taken into account when we are discussing about this talent strategy for Polish people, for Polish future workforce. And I think what is important, we need to take into account some key needs. Firstly, modernization of educational systems. It's crucial because we need to start from the early childhood to give the possibilities to learn codes and coding. We need, of course, to create educational systems as focused on equalization of opportunities for all people. And on the other hand, for, if I can say, fishing the talents, it's crucial. And it's crucial from the very beginning to the level of universities and high schools. So this is a big challenge. The second is the reorientation of lifelong learning solutions, because they should be adjusted to the new needs of the people, but on the other hand, to the new opportunities done by the digital tools. We can now use lifelong learning using models prepared in the digital channels. It is important for workforce in 30s, 40s, 50s to be much more adaptable to the new requirements in the companies. And of course, the third point is related to the strengthening the relation between research and development and scientific area and businesses and industries, because we need to prepare the new model of commercialization of many inventions and scientific achievements. It's crucial, as I have expressed. And of course, when we need to analyze what is important, we need to analyze and to take some conclusions from the assessments of the digital, of the level of the digital skills. This is in the next slide, please. And it's crucial that we are not in the group of leading countries, but we are close to Belgium, Greece, and Hungary. 44% of Polish people have above basic digital skills, and 42 have basic digital skills. It's not enough. It's not sufficient for the digital revolution. So we think to change it. But on the other hand, of course, firstly, we need to understand how important it is to see what is going on in the companies. And artificial intelligence, as it was expressed at the beginning of my intervention, is crucial. So look at the next slide, and artificial intelligence adoption by enterprises. 34% of Polish enterprises are using at least one artificial intelligence technology. But when we are thinking about 44% of Polish companies, the same in the European Union, unfortunately, are not planning to use artificial intelligence instruments. So this is the deficit, and we need to change this situation. In the next slide, we can analyze what is the artificial intelligence adoption by company size. And it's very surprising. Micro companies employed to 10 people at the European, in the European countries and in Poland have the level of 38–39% of readiness to adopt to the artificial intelligence solutions. The same situation is when we are looking at the large companies employed over 250 persons. But of course, there are many problems when we are looking at small, medium businesses. If we can say that small, medium business is very crucial for Polish economic development, so this is a challenge to bring to those companies, medium and small, more digital instruments for their future competitiveness. In the next slide, we can observe what kind of barriers of using artificial intelligence we can observe. And there are some key problems related to the cost of adoption, preparation, access to the technical solutions. 71% of Polish companies is treating it as a key barrier. Also, this is a problem with finding people with the proper right skills to employ them when the company wants to start use artificial intelligence. And also this is a problem of cost of operational systems, which could transfer the traditional digital tools for the more new as artificial intelligence can bring. Also, it is the next slide, we need to analyze what kind of competences and skills are demanded when we are thinking about future. Machine learning and modeling of skills, 47% of Polish companies understand that it is very needed. Also, cloud computing skills, 39%. Big data management skills needed for 64%. Programming skills needed for 56%. And robotic skills needed for 36%. This is the real challenge. If the companies want to go in the way of digital development, they need to be to have access to the new people with digital competences and skills. And the last slide during this presentation, technology is likely to be adopted by 2025. It is clear that in this perspective, the cloud computing will play the meaningful role. And on the other hand, encryption and cybersecurity. Those two are the big challenge, and we need to consider what kind of offers we can prepare. We means public institutions and big companies address it to smaller companies. It's also related to the area of using robots, non-humanoid, and also many new issues related to the blockchain. So this is a table which show us what kind of technologies will be needed. And when we are discussing about establishing this talent strategy, we need to analyze what will be needed in the companies, what will be needed in the business, what will be needed from the digital perspective in the economic development. And those information and those picture of the situation, landscape of the situation should be taken into account when we want to start with establishing talent strategy. Who can make this strategy? Who should be responsible for this strategy? Of course, public authorities and public institutions should be involved and play the significant role. But on the other hand, it is very important to express and to describe the role of business, because business can play very important complementary role, creating the leadership and supporting the future leaders, talented people. How? In the educational system, we can indicate some talents, we can support them. But talented people very often require practicing, and practicing is possible in the companies. So if we want to have real talented people, also as the leaders in the future and for the future, we need to be much more open in companies for supporting them. And if I can say at the end of this intervention of this speech, creating the leadership for future leaders, talented leaders. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Boni. We are entering a world in which everything is connected, sensing and intelligent. A better world for us all. Here I would like to welcome Mr. Zhan Tao, Director of the UNESCO Institute for Information Technologies in Education, to talk about talent strategy of a digital world for the next decade.
Dear Ms. Kasarina, distinguished colleagues and friends, greetings from UNESCO Institute for Information Technologies in Education, IITE. I'm very pleased to participate in the Innovation Day Europe, representing UNESCO IITE as a partner of Huawei for this event. First of all, I'd like to congratulate Ms. Kasarina and her team for organizing this important event in very challenging and difficult time when the second wave of COVID is hitting Europe, is hitting the world. This is a moment we need to stay together, stand firmly together, shoulder by shoulder, heart to heart. This is the moment we need innovation so that we can have more efficient and collective response to the pandemic. So I very much appreciate the effort of Huawei colleagues in making this event happening timely, and UNESCO IITE is very happy to be part of it. Huawei is a very close partner with UNESCO, not just with my institute, IITE, but with the UNESCO organization. Especially since COVID, Huawei joined the UNESCO Global Education Coalition and become a major contributor and active member of the coalition. This coalition aims at mobilizing resources and collective efforts at the global level to support countries who need the most help. And in Africa, in Middle East, my institute has been working very closely with Huawei colleagues. As an example, Huawei has the so-called ICT Academy, covering over 300 universities and colleagues in Africa alone. And UNESCO and my institute, we have expertise and a global network. And through working together, the collaboration is very productive. We have been helping teachers, students, and the universities and schools during this difficult time. This is also, I think, a good example. And UNESCO IITE is a global institute, and our program activities covers Europe and other regions of the world. However, it is a pity that we never had joint actions with Huawei in Europe and for Europe. This is the first time. I know Huawei Europe is very active in promoting technologies and for fostering youth with digital skills and even AI technologies. And I see a lot of opportunities for us working together between Huawei and IIT and with other partners as well. And innovation is the spirit of our time, is the name of our age. If I am asked to use one word to tell what the digital age is, I would say innovation is the name of our age. And in addition to it, I prefer to add another word, that is collaboration. I believe innovation and collaboration that characterize the name, the brand of our age, the digital age. And it is my understanding that collaboration is also part of innovation. However, innovation is not something new. When we talk about innovation, it reminds us the great names in human history, particularly in the history of Europe. And what makes difference? The innovation today and the past. And my understanding is innovation for everyone and engaging for everyone. That is the innovation for today. That is only possible thanks to the power of digital and advanced information technology. So the topic of our session today is the strategic for the next decades, even for even longer term. And when we talk about the strategy, we should keep in mind that innovation today and innovation future must engage youth, must engage everyone, for everyone, and by everyone. And from UNESCO's perspective, we care about growth, we care about ethnic minorities, people with disabilities, and other vulnerable groups. They have the same potential, the same power. However, they need special support so that to enjoy equal opportunity for innovation. And UNESCO also cares about Africa. If we look at Africa, this is a world, this is a place full of passion, energy of young people. It is the future of our planet. However, Africa is the region who needs the most support from us. When we plan our future for Africa, we cannot plan Africa separately. It must be integrated into our global strategy. So as an example, we have Innovation Day for Europe today. And as far as I know, Huawei also have Innovation Day for Africa. Why don't they have an Innovation Day jointly, Europe and Africa, so that the young people from both Europe and Africa could exchange ideas, experience for better opportunities of innovation. And these are the just examples. And UNESCO, as a global organization of UN, its mission and value is peace and sustainable development. So we also care about the value of innovation. So as innovation is reshaping our society today, I mean, not just education, but our economy and the way of our life and thinking. As innovation will be reshaping our future. So innovation must be led or guided by our shared value. We must recognize the opportunities, but also the key challenges when we talk about innovation. So we need platforms like this to share our views, ideas, and concerns so that we can work collectively with our shared power, shared value for a better future. So I couldn't wait for another year to join Huawei and colleagues for another debate or discussion. I believe and I hope innovation is a topic for us, for everyone, not just on Innovation Day, but every day. So let me congratulate Huawei colleagues and with a great success of this event. And I'm looking forward to working together more closely with Huawei and partners from Europe as well. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Zhang. Indeed, the talent strategy, especially in the era of AI, became the top concern of each country. Is AI a threat or a help? What education should be prepared for talents in the future? Today, it's our great honor to have a special guest, the mogul of computer science, Jan Madej, Professor Emeritus of University of Warsaw, to share with us his opinion.
Good morning. It is my honor and pleasure to share with you some thoughts about the current situation with education because of the artificial intelligence era, artificial intelligence which is really surrounding us. We can spend hours on talking about each of those cases which I mentioned here, games, robots, Internet of Things, etc. However, we have no time for that. Let me make one comment yet. Namely, if we think about a driverless car, who will be punished if such a car causes an accident? Who will be guilty? The producer, the owner, the software producer? Many, many questions. And the same relates to basically all other areas of artificial intelligence. Let us, however, concentrate on, first of all, how has all it started? What does it mean, the term intelligence? It's a bit difficult if we look into dictionaries. The first one, which I picked up from 1938, gives not much intuition to us. The same with 1960. But situation changes in 80s and 90s and current time, when basically the artificial intelligence become so popular. The Longman's Dictionary of Contemporary English from 2012 says its ability to learn, understand, and think about things. I think this short statement says a lot. Let's have a look in Wikipedia, which is actually, for many people, the only source of information. Here's the situation is different. Wikipedia says, honestly, that the definition is very controversial and not quite clear. We don't spend time even on trying to read it now. Now, what about artificial intelligence? First of all, the term is not very good. When do we use an artificial leg? When we're missing the real one. So we may say the same about artificial intelligence. However, the term is already adopted use and we cannot change it. In the Longman Dictionary, the definition of artificial intelligence is quite good, I would say. However, look at the very last part of the definition. Namely, the computers should do should do things like think and make decisions. Make decisions, it's obvious, but to think, it's about controversial again. And in Wikipedia, more or less, we repeat the same approach. Now about two people who influenced artificial intelligence. The first person I would like to mention is the father of the terminology, father of artificial intelligence, John Mccarthy, an American scientist. Already in 1955, he used the term, but it became officially known in 1956 when he organized a very well-known workshop, which lasted a couple of weeks. And the name of the workshop was on artificial intelligence. John Mccarthy, a couple of years later, organized the first institution, Artificial Intelligence Laboratory at MIT. In 1961, 2 years later, he had a vision. He had a vision of the current time. In '62, he split with Minsky and opened another laboratory, this time in California, in Stanford. But for me, very important year is 1966. John Mccarthy came to Warsaw. There was an important meeting of IFIP WG 2.1 group on algol successors. John Mccarthy participated with a lot of other scientists. And a few months later, when he came back to the States, he organized the first computer chess competition between the States and the Soviet Union. Moscow against Stanford. In fact, Russian computers won. And this is a picture taken during that special occasion. The next person who must be mentioned, I have called him a grandfather of artificial intelligence, is Alan Turing. He was a genius. He was a really unbelievable scientist, mathematician and logician. Some encyclopedias say also computer scientist, but we shouldn't use that term. It did not exist yet. But he was a precursor of computer science, bioinformatics, and artificial intelligence. He was involved in code breaking during the war and got a medal afterwards. And there are two terms used still, Turing machine and Turing test, both of them extremely important and still used by scientists. Turing is also known, Turing's name is also known because of an award. It's a Nobel Prize in computer science. Turing unfortunately passed away in '54 from cyanide poisoning, which was a result of his homosexual treatment he got. He was forced to use chemical treatment. Officially, it was a suicide. His mother never accepted the fact that it was a suicide. Half an apple was found with cyanide close to his bed. In 2009, there was official apology by the Prime Minister for what they did to Turing, and the Queen Elizabeth also gave him a pardon in 2013. Turing influenced, as I mentioned, everything, the whole computer science, bioinformatics, and artificial intelligence. Now let's come back to the main question. Whom, what, and how should we teach in the current circumstances, with artificial intelligence being around us, as we already know? The question whom is, the answer is very simple. Everybody, everyone. There is no doubt about it. We should teach from kindergarten to retirement and beyond. In the past, when you got an education, you often would stop after school or high school or university and perform certain job. Now we know we have to learn our whole life. Of course, we have to learn in a different way depending on whether they are kids or elder people, but we should never stop. The other question is, what should we learn? Here the situation is, for me, also quite clear. It's such a term, computational thinking. What does it mean? In very few words, we have to think precisely. We have to learn to think precisely. We have to learn some logic. We have to learn some algorithms and some programming. Depending on the age, depending on education, of course, programming would be different. Programming in case of small children would be toys, but nevertheless, it would be teaching them the way to think about solving problems. Now, how? It's also an important and difficult question. And the answer for me, especially now, is quite clear. It should be blended learning, blended teaching. What do we mean by blended? It's a mixture between the regular, standard, normal teaching when we have classrooms, a teacher, and the teaching using internet, remote teaching. Especially now because of health situation, we know schools are closed, universities are closed, so this teaching, e-teaching becomes a necessity. But it is a necessity also in case of people who are sick, older people, in many cases. So traditional teaching should be mixed with e-learning. So we have many challenges. First of all, we have to know what to teach by designing proper curricula. And that's very important because there are different needs and different abilities depending on the age of a pupil. And we have to be very careful because by wrong curricula we can discourage people. It's very famous that many young people say, I hate mathematics. And from my point of view, the reason is very simple. They had bad teachers, they had bad curricula. They were not properly taught. So we have to be very careful about teachers. We need well-prepared teachers. And here I have to blame universities, because the universities do not pay enough attention in trying to prepare good teachers. Often at universities, scientific work is much more important than education, than teaching methodology. I remember for ages it was so that when you were going to special section which would prepare you as a teacher, very seldom you did it because of your preferences, often because you were not able, you were not clever enough to do a real scientific work. So we're missing good teachers, in fact, on any level, and we have to have well-motivated teachers. And it's a big problem which exists, I believe, in every place. We have taken into account psychology of e-learning. I mentioned that blended learning is necessity. We have to remember that learning is a very difficult problem. It's a difficult process. It is difficult for people to learn when you have too much freedom. In fact, we may say that too much freedom is a killer. When you are left alone, you often don't find enough motivation to learn. Also, very often you want to share your success. If you discovered something, if you made some progress, you would like to have an audience. If you don't have an audience, it's not a big joy. So, advocating e-learning, we have also taken into account a methodology in e-learning. We have to allow certain mimic of classical learning while using modern tools. I have also an appendix which shows you complexity of artificial intelligence. We won't go into details here, but let me just share with you an example of a current textbook on artificial intelligence. This textbook is over 1,000 pages. It tells you how complex this area of research became now. It is divided in big chapters, and each chapter has sections. So we have chapters basically about artificial intelligence, as such, introduction, problem solving in general, knowledge, reasoning, and planning. Next chapters are communicating, perceiving, and acting, and of course, conclusions. Besides the main chapters, we have also additions. We have mathematical background and notes on languages and algorithms. What the author says, the readers of the book do not have to have a very special initial knowledge. The book covers basically all what is important. It's a very, very popular one. And this is basically all I wanted to tell you today. Thank you very much for your attention.
Thank you, Professor, to make us think deeply on education challenges. Next, I would like to invite to the stage Professor Aleksandra Przegalińska, Prorector of the Koźmiński University, to share her view on the best practices to cultivate talents.
Hello, everyone. My name is Aleksandra Przegalińska. I am the Vice Rector responsible for international cooperation and ESR, so ethics and social responsibility, at Koźmiński University in Warsaw, Poland. I am also a specialist working in artificial intelligence, specializing in natural language processing and human-machine interaction. And today, I want to speak to you about education for innovation. So education for the future, for our future with technologies. I think it's a very important issue right now when we're facing so many different problems to really talk about how to leverage technologies to address at least some of them. I've been also very much preoccupied recently with understanding how collaboration can unfold in the future. How to use technologies to foster collaboration, how to create collaborative environments in which all of that collaboration, or most of it, is actually enabled or mediated through technologies. I've been writing about it in most of my recent books, and the future of work, and particularly future of collaboration, is something that I'm very much currently invested in. What we have seen recently was an unprecedented growth in terms of big data storing, big data analysis, big data processing, and also, for instance, artificial intelligence and related technologies. All of these develop currently very, very rapidly, and we have a situation in which we are facing probably an unprecedented growth in terms of what we can do with data, potential of data for the future, potential of data-driven solutions. Also, in terms of artificial intelligence, when you think about it, it's obviously an umbrella term for many different disciplines. Among them, you can think about expert systems, you can think about robotics, you can think about various solutions related to optimization and planning, that some of them are trivial, but some of them are not. But you can also think about domains that have been growing really rapidly, where you have new methodologies of working with data, where you have new ways of handling data, and also new solutions based on AI. And I would here probably mention mostly machine learning, both related to prediction and also to the growth of deep learning, for instance. And deep learning clearly has been at the frontier of AI for quite some time now. You can think also about natural language processing. Here you also have many unprecedented developments. Some of them are related to translation, deep translation from one language to another. Some of them are related to information extraction, where you can ask an AI system to tell you what was in a book, and it's not going to give you a trivial answer, but it's going to actually tell you that the book contained information about this and that. That's a major change in natural language processing. You can think also about virtual assistants and various speech-to-text and text-to-speech solutions that can really transfer the way we speak, our talking to text, and then further on to bits that a machine can comprehend. And in terms of virtual assistants, also we've had unprecedented growth recently. Yet another discipline is machine vision. And obviously here, when it comes to tackling what's on the image, recognizing objects on the image, but also generating images, we've had major developments. And you could currently say that artificial intelligence is developing its senses, right? It's able to speak, it's able to understand understand the way you speak. It's able to understand the way we see. And it's able to also see something on its own. Apart from that, it's also able to answer questions related to our future. Through predictive analytics, we can find out, for instance, what will be the population of Europe in 2050. And that's, I think, a major change that we're currently experiencing. So AI is definitely developing very, very rapidly. But what is also developing is business needs that are related to artificial intelligence. We are currently no longer in a phase of, let's say, talking about artificial intelligence or discourses around artificial intelligence. We are more in a phase of production, where we are asking a question, how AI can help in particular business domains. And we can say, okay, we're no longer talking, we're now doing the job of producing solutions that are going to be specific, that are going to target specific business needs, and that will be more personalized than just generic. So definitely, we're in a moment where business is applying artificial intelligence and is really investigating possibilities that are related to it. We've seen some of that already happening. We've seen major developments, as I've said, for instance, in machine learning. We have various disciplines within machine learning. We have, let's say, older disciplines or more related to statistics, such as supervised learning. And here we've seen how regression, classification, major two sub-disciplines in supervised learning have been delivering solutions, for instance, in weather forecasting, in predicting advertising popularity, predicting certain issues related to demographics, so population, for instance, but also market forecasting or customer retention. Some solutions from supervised learning have also been used already by various companies to, for instance, perform diagnostics or to identify fraudulent transactions. So we've seen a lot happening in that domain. We also have seen major developments in unsupervised learning, where we have solutions that are, for instance, allowing us to really congest big data and see a fuller picture of what these data are hiding inside. Another thing is recommendation systems. We are currently experiencing an unprecedented growth in building recommender systems that are showing us various products, that are showing us various services, that are trying to adapt to our current needs. And here, obviously, clustering, which is a specific domain within unsupervised learning, is delivering those solutions. What we've also seen is, as a part of this big revolution in deep learning, major developments in reinforcement learning. Reinforcement learning is allowing us, for instance, to build new robots that can adapt to noisy environments, to changes in the environment, to acquire new skills, how to handle reality and all of its complexity. We've also seen major developments in game AI, where we had systems that were based on AI, even competing against humans in strategic games and winning. So we have a lot of deployments, developments that are already here and now. In that sense, you could say that the future is also now. What we also see is how artificial intelligence can in the future be used for various civilizational issues and major societal problems. Among them, you can think about climate change, but you can also think about the current pandemics and the whole situation with the public health crisis that we are seeing. United Nations has composed Sustainable Development Goals, and many of these goals can be solved or co-solved with the usage of technology. Those that are related to climate, those that are related to housing, to agriculture, to food for everyone, and reducing hunger. Many of these issues can be solved through handling various types of data and making data-driven decisions. So I do believe that we are now in a time where technology is serving common good goals. So in that context, we can ask ourselves a question: what skills do organizations need? And that brings us to the issue of education. So what is it that the market, that the world is looking for in terms of skills related to technology and to fostering innovation? We can definitely say that one thing that is very much needed is talent pool. We need talents. We need data specialists. Many companies that are native to technological developments, that are at the frontier, that are pioneering technologies, are saying that they do not have enough specialists. And indeed, university education, higher education, has to address that somehow, that this talent pool is too low to really keep up with certain promises that technology bears. That's one thing. Yet another thing is related to alliances in terms of artificial intelligence and various technology developments. You need alliances between universities, research institutions. You need alliances between businesses, cross-business alliances. You also need alliances between NGOs and universities. And what we also need is leadership in technology. We are seeing currently a situation in which technology becomes really strategic, and you need leaders that will be able to address it somehow in the future. Not just specialists that will tackle certain problems on a technical level, but leadership that can take the usage of technology to the next level. That's also very much our need. We also need more critical assessment of technologies. We need skills that will be related to assessing, how certain technology has been built, what's the goal of it, what's the purpose of it, and what is, for me, the best way of using it. That's something that we should foster also at a level of, I think, school children or kindergarten. That's where it should start. And that's very much a necessary thing. Now, yet another thing is more technology foresight. We need to start planning and seeing far-fetched consequences of technologies that are developed today. We need to think about planning for the future and envisage future of certain technologies and us with those technologies in 2050 or 2060. That's very much a basic need that we currently have to really gear up for the future and to prepare different scenarios of how the future can unfold. In the context of that, I have to say that at Kosminski University, we have developed a program that is called Artificial Intelligence and Management, where we are trying to bridge business and management with AI. And that is to say, we want to create specialists that will be able to handle data and will confidently program, but at the same time, we want them to be able to understand what business needs currently and how to manage various projects, how to conduct projects that are management-oriented. And in that context, I think we need more education that will bridge technologies with other domains. Pharmacy, history, biology, these are all disciplines that can benefit from artificial intelligence, and you do not need to produce specialists that will just work in the field of technology. You need specialists that will be able to take technology to different domains and try to apply it there to solve various problems. And that's a very important need that we're currently seeing. That's something that still remains undisposed. We don't have that many cross-disciplinary, interdisciplinary projects that could bridge technology with other domains. And this is something that we need to address in terms of agriculture, in terms of logistics, in terms of education, in terms of the legal sector, retail sector, financial sector, and quite obviously medical sector. In all of these domains, you can create technological solutions that will somehow contribute to positive growth. When you think about the current pandemics, artificial intelligence can be helpful in therapy, it can be helpful in diagnostics, and also in terms of modeling the pandemics. You just need people that will be able to conduct these projects, so those who have certain insights in both medical sector and AI and related technologies. I think this is a very important challenge that we currently have. We need to shape future leaders that will be able to think strategically about technologies. You need people that can think outside their own domain, and you need to create alliances between universities, research sectors, businesses, NGOs, organizations, so that they can together create an ecology or, let's say, ecosystem of technologies that will contribute to solving the most urgent, the most problematic issues that we're currently facing as a civilization. Thank you.
Thank you, Professor Przegalińska. Next, I would like to invite Professor Piotr Bielski, Deputy Director for Research Institute of the Warsaw University of Technology, to talk about their practices and plans for the future.
Hello everyone, my name is Piotr Bielski and I am with Warsaw University of Technology, where I have the position of professor in computer science, working in the Institute of Radio Electronics and Multimedia Technology, where I am the vice director in charge of science. And my position and also my professional experience allows me to witness the technical advancements that is happening right now. It's been happening for the last 30, 40 years, but now it even accelerated, not necessarily with the more powerful and faster computer systems, but also in their universal applications. Because today, computers became the part of everyday life for everyone, not only sophisticated machines that perform calculations for scientists or for engineers. Right now, computers are with us performing very, very simple tasks, but for everyone, like during the web searching, like during the car driving, during the navigation, and so on and so on. So we see that in the university that the process, this advancement process, practically it never stops and it's going on. And unfortunately, maybe, the issue here is that humanity lags behind a little bit, which means that society is not ready for that significant advancement, which also means that there is the need to explain to the people about the technology, its application, and let them used to that. The people have to learn that right now we are in the machine-driven world, which means that many tasks that were performed by humans manually right now will be done by robots and other technical systems automatically, with the higher accuracy and probably at lower costs. So we are in the 21st century, where our civilization has reached some specific point. We're not talking about necessarily about self-conscious machines, as you know, in the sci-fi books or movies. We are talking about highly computerized society, where one of the leading role is played by artificial intelligence. We have arsenal of new algorithms, and finally we have computers that are able to implement them, that they are able to run them efficiently and quickly. So on one side we have very powerful machines, on the other we have very, very small embedded computers that can be worn by users. They can be carried. They are very small, very light, but yet they are extremely powerful. And this gives us the new era of information, with vast amount of data traveling between computers, from the users to the servers and in the computational cloud, and creating kind of new industry for information, and so for storage of information and processing. Now, in the university, we see that as the society is not ready to embrace everything, the individuals, the most capable of that, are definitely young people. And so the students right now became extremely important for us. So through our academic activities, we're not only trying to train them to become specialists in the specific field, we also try to show them that their additional role, not insignificant, equally important, is to explain to the world, to the people, what kind of world we're living in. What is the role of technology, and what is the what benefits can be drawn from the machines, from the computers. We don't have to fear them, but there are some issues that have to be addressed. For example, the ability to monitor people, to analyze people, to follow people almost all day, all night, thanks to the sensory technologies, thanks to the internet, and so on and so on. So I believe that this is the additional role of the university today, not only teach the technology and give the hints on what can be done more or in the next decade or in the century. The more, even equally important, is how to explain to the people, how to show them what benefits can be drawn from these technologies and how to avoid some dangers that await us. Because before that, before the 21st century, we had quite a different world. Right now, we are in the information technology, and there are many technical layers with many details that make all this work. Now, what happens if they are all gone? We got used to them, and we are dependent on them. So this is also an important issue regarding the development of the society. And I've mentioned the hardware advancements. I have to mention the software advancements, because hardware plus software gives us the new quality that was not possible to obtain 20 years ago. And I remember being a student, I've been in touch with very different technologies that we have today. So that's how it's growing so fast. It's so important that we understand how to use them. And this leads us to the cooperation between the university and other universities, not only national, but also international cooperation. This is very important. And also, maybe even more important regarding technical universities, is the cooperation with the companies. Such companies as Huawei, where we can mutually benefit from the exchange of not only the hardware and software, but also the exchange of information, exchange of experience. So actually, I have to say that we have very high hopes in such a cooperation. So we hope that we will be able not only to solve some specific problems of the modern society in the environmental sciences, maybe in the construction sciences, in IT, but also we'll be able to bind ourselves with the outside world. So the cooperation with such companies will give us more push for and knowledge about how also can we use the technologies that we are training ourselves and our students. Thank you so much.
Science and technology not only bring intelligent lifestyle, but also undertake more social responsibilities. For example, telemedicine played an important role during the pandemic. Therefore, now I would like to invite Mr. Grzegorz Śladowski, business owner of Data Expert, to give us a case study of how AI-powered diagnosis could help the hospital in Kraków.
Hello, my name is Grzegorz Śladowski and I'm the Vice CEO and co-owner of Data Experts company. Data Experts is a Polish integrator with over 10 years experience with ICT. We are focusing on complete solutions deployment with service and maintenance. Data Experts has been Huawei sales and service partner for many years. This year, Data Experts have signed a distributor agreement with Ict Healthcare company. Ict Healthcare provides a solution for automatic medical diagnosis based on artificial intelligence algorithms. Key point is that over 1 million source city images were used during the AI algorithms development. That's why this software is so effective and its accuracy is over 95%. Offered solution accelerates the diagnosis process of different medical areas like pneumonia screening, including COVID-19 diagnosis, lung cancer screening, breast cancer screening, and children's growth and development, so-called children-born aging. This year, Data Experts has provided first pilot deployment of COVID-19 diagnosis based on E2 healthcare software accelerated with Huawei Atlas AI solution. Diagnosis was done using lung CT images. Deployment was provided at Krakow University Hospital, one of the biggest and most modern hospital in Poland. Deployed solution allows to detect and differentiate lung changes based on tomographic images by connecting directly to a tomograph or PACS. After the patient examination, the tomograph or PACS send the images to the E2 system, which automatically begins the analysis and diagnosis. The information obtained supports doctors in the diagnosis and assessment of the dynamics of changes during the treatment process. Test results were very positive. Feedback was that this software with high accuracy differentiates milky glass lung changes characteristic for atypical and viral inflammations, including COVID-19, from changes in the type of densification and consolidation in the course of bronchopneumonia. The deployed solution reduces the traditional time of manual work of doctors from a few hours to a few minutes. This enables precise treatment and significantly increases its effectiveness. The assessment of the severity of pneumonia classifies the change as mild, moderate, or critical. And in addition, the software can identify the radiological signs of infectious lung damage in the form of milky glass or pleural effusion. The system also automatically compares the current CT scans results of a given patient with his or her historical CT image to verify changes in pneumonia. This is very important because patients with COVID-19 or another type of pneumonia must have CT scans even 3 or 4 days. And this feature helps doctor almost immediately assess whether the current treatment plan is appropriate. Regarding basic requirements, the software connects with a CT machine or PACS system using local network through TCP/IP. From a hardware perspective, a physical server with a GPU card is needed. In general, the system is very easy to use and easy to learn. Any radiologist or clinical doctor can use this system without any difficulty. At Data Experts, we believe that the world is on the verge of widespread use of AI solutions. And for example, healthcare is such area where specialists can be supported with artificial intelligence, thereby increasing the quality and availability of services for the benefit of society as a whole. If you are interested in AI solution for medicine, we are open for cooperation. We are ready to share our knowledge and experience, so feel free to contact us. Thank you for your time and patience. Bye-bye.
Thank you, Mr. Śladowski. COVID tears us apart and isolates us, but technology brings us closer. November is the month of Digital Museum, and today we are excited to have Professor Łukasz Gaweł, the director of the National Museum in Warsaw, to share his vision of Digital Museum.
Dzień dobry Państwu, nazywam się Łukasz Gaweł i pełnię obowiązki dyrektora Muzeum Narodowego w Warszawie. Z mojej perspektywy oczywiście najważniejszego muzeum w Polsce, ale prawda jest też taka, że jest to najważniejsze muzeum w Polsce. Powstało w 1862 roku i dla wszystkich gości z zagranicy ta data jest abstrakcyjna. Dla nas nie, bo wtedy nie było państwa polskiego. Muzeum Narodowe powstało w czasach, kiedy nie istniała Polska. I wtedy uświadomiliśmy sobie, jak ważna jest sztuka, jak dużo daje nam sztuka, jak wiele możemy zrozumieć dzięki sztuce, jak ważna jest w kontekście naszego dziedzictwa kulturowego, ale też naszej tożsamości. Ten budynek, który Państwo widzicie za mną na zdjęciu, powstał dopiero przed II wojną światową. Przez całe lata gromadziliśmy nasze zbiory w różnych obiektach w Warszawie i przez całe lata rzesze muzealników dbały o to, żeby te prawie 900 000 zbiorów dotrwało do dnia dzisiejszego. Teraz jesteśmy w zupełnie innym momencie. Muzea znowu się zmieniają, ale teraz potrzebujemy do współpracy specjalistów z dziedzin, których nawet nie podejrzewaliśmy, że są nam potrzebne. Od pewnego czasu trwa w Polsce proces digitalizacji, cyfryzacji. Nasze zbiory stają się coraz bezpieczniejsze przez to, że mamy bardzo gęste skany, reprodukcje obiektów, które gromadzimy w magazynach. Ale potrzebny jest następny krok. Potrzebny jest potężny partner technologiczny, który da nam technologię zmieniającą nie tylko bezpieczeństwo zbiorów, ale również możliwość gromadzenia tych zbiorów w przestrzeni wirtualnej. Dlatego współpraca z Huawei dla nas jest tak istotna. To jest partner, który zapewnia nam technologię, do której żadna publiczna instytucja nie będzie miała dostępu, dlatego że nie ma tego know-how, a ta technologia przychodzi dla nas z innego świata. Równie dobrze mogłaby być z kosmosu. Jeżeli połączymy siły, możemy zrobić to, co widzicie Państwo teraz z tyłu. To jest nasz pierwszy wspólny projekt, wystawa 3D. No właśnie, wystawy, która pokazuje to, o czym mówiłem. Polska siła obrazu. To są najpiękniejsze, najważniejsze i najbardziej niezwykłe dzieła malarstwa polskiego, sztuki polskiej, mówiące o tym, o czym powiedziałem, mówiące o budowaniu ducha narodu, cokolwiek to znaczy, o budowaniu przestrzeni tożsamości, o budowaniu naszej przestrzeni symbolicznej, o pokazywaniu nam tak naprawdę, za czym tęsknimy. To są niezwykłe dzieła, teraz jest szczególnie trudny czas dla wszystkich na świecie, nie tylko dla naszego muzeum. Wszystkie muzea przeżywają to samo. Dzięki współpracy z Huawei'em mogliśmy zaprosić naszych gości na wystawę, której nie mogą odwiedzić rzeczywistości. Możecie przyjść do nas i tak jak Państwo widzicie na ekranie, po prostu chodzić po kolejnych salach, a dzięki doskonałej technologii widzicie dzieła sztuki naprawdę w świetnej jakości. To, co widzicie teraz, a przed chwilą widzieliście, jest szczególnie mi bliskie. Ja pochodzę z Krakowa, to były widoki na Kopiec Stanisława Wyspiańskiego. Normalnie musielibyście do nas przyjść i wierzymy, że do nas przyjdziecie. To też trzeba powiedzieć. Technologia nie zastąpi muzeum. Zawsze kontakt z dziełem sztuki będzie najważniejszy, ale technologia może nam pomóc lepiej poznać te dzieła, może pozwolić przygotować się do wizyty w muzeum, albo może pomóc zrozumieć wizytę po tym, jak już wrócimy do domu. Możemy zobaczyć powiększenia dzieł sztuki, których normalnie na żywo nie zobaczymy. Wszystko to daje nam partnerstwo z Huawei, dlatego dla nas ten dzień jest tak ważny. Proszę Państwa, ta współpraca nie byłaby możliwa, gdybyśmy nie spotkali na swojej drodze człowieka, który rozumie zarówno sztukę, jak i technologię. Dlatego współpraca z Huawei, reprezentowanym przez pana dyrektora Ryszarda Horudyńskiego, jest dla nas tak ważna i cieszymy się, że jesteśmy razem.
Dzień dobry. We are very happy to be here. We are very happy to start the partnership with the National Museum in Warsaw, especially working with this exhibition, which shows Polish history on the paintings. Huawei mission is to bring connectivity to everyone and to bring the digital benefits for everyone. Thus, it is even more important for us that we are able to work with, to cooperate with the National Museum and to bring the benefits of and the satisfaction of looking at on the exhibition to the people that cannot come to the museum, especially now during the COVID time. Just to assure our cooperation and kind of kick off it, I would like to provide Mr. Director.
Thank you very much.
Kind of check, which shows we'll start our partnership just now, but it's not the last project, it's just the first step.
Thank you very much. I really believe that's the start of our cooperation. The Huawei technology is a future of our museum. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, gentlemen, for demonstrating the exciting 3D virtual tour of the National Museum. Aiming to meet the requirement of ICT talents, Huawei runs Ict Academy program since 2013. February this year, a bigger commitment has been set to develop 2 million ICT professionals over the next 5 years globally. Here I would like to welcome the representatives of the first university that joined Ict Academy program, Professor Mariusz Głąbowski, PhD, DSc Vice Dean for Research of Poznań Technical University, and Mr. Paweł Śniatała, PhD, DSc Vice Rector for International Cooperation of Poznań Technical University, to share their experience on talent development.
At the beginning of my speech, I would like to mention that we have been observing a rapid growth of higher education in the world since the 1970s. In Poland, the changes became possible after 1989. The number of students has increased multiple times in that period, from less than 360,000 in the academic year 1988-1989 to over 1.5 million at present. Nowadays, many students, especially those focused on technical degrees, graduate or leave having finished the first cycle program. It is a phenomenon linked primarily to Polish markets, high demand for engineers. However, the existence of various cycles of higher education ensures that these young people can always go back to universities in order to fill gaps in their knowledge, thanks to an extremely wide range of postgraduate studies. In order to ensure effective education and comprehensive development, not only do we need to adjust the teaching content, but also the teaching methods. What is expected of students in terms of skills has also changed. Among modern teaching methods employed by many universities, students seem to appreciate active or problem-based learning in particular. Instead of making them memorize content, we encourage them to look for solutions to a given problem. Frequently, it requires taking a holistic approach, that is, creating courses and composing content traditionally taught during various subjects. The possibility of students from different fields of study working together on finding solutions to problems is a sort of a highlight of this approach. Such groups of students, frequently from science clubs, and the solutions they put forward deserve worldwide recognition. They also often take part in international competitions above any others. For instance, one of such competitions in the field of ICT involving our teams of students is the Huawei Ict Competition. The first edition of this international contest in Poland took place in 2019. On 6th of November this year, our students will face their opponents from the best teams from around the world. This is a great achievement to our university, as only the teams that score the highest on the national scale can be represented. ICT students also participate in a competition called Seeds for the Future. It is an international competition organized by Huawei since 2008. In Poland, it has been held since 2014 in collaboration with the Ministry of Digital Affairs. The purpose of the competition is to select talented students and give them the opportunity to gain hands-on experience in the field of new information and communication technologies. Thanks to the competition, 5 students from Poznań University of Technology took part in technological training in the headquarters of Huawei in Shenzhen. Coming back to problem-based learning, one of the factors that facilitates implementing that kind of instruction is public access to information. Information can be either made accessible by the lecturers online or found by the students on our global network, the Internet. Access to high-quality educational resources is key in the current situation, as many of our activities are paralyzed by an epidemic. In my view, 2 of particularly interesting solutions in the area are in the consortia of universities, European universities, in our case, and the online availability of well-equipped laboratories. I would like to ask our rector, responsible for international relations, Professor Paweł Śniatała, to present the idea of European University UNIS.
As a person responsible for international relations, I was asked to add a few words related to the presented topic from this perspective. We are talking about future education and about startups. It's obvious that the new ideas, education, business, do not stop at country borders. Nowadays, students can take their education in different places, including abroad. The most popular European program to help them in this activity is Erasmus+. However, there was a need to go further. In 2017, the European Commission proposed to create European University Initiative Program and launched the first call to higher education institution in 2018 and the second one in 2019. The goal was to select the best proposals of new models of European universities. My alma mater, Poznań University of Technology, was selected to be the leader of a UNIS European University. The idea of this new university is hidden inside the acronym. EUNIS stands for European University for Customized Education. EUNIS will offer students programs which are customized to current market and society demands. We are going to implement a problem-based learning approach. To explain this idea, let me give an example. One of the important problems in our generation is healthcare. For example, in order to prepare our students to approach this particular challenge, we prepare computer science students to deal with IT solutions dedicated to healthcare. When we introduce artificial intelligence applications, we show students how AI is used to analyze medical images. Students who study physics learn how to plan cancer treatment using radiotherapy, how to calculate the needed dose. Another important added value of the new idea of European University is flexibility in choosing courses. Students can take their courses in different universities, so they can select the place where the best specialists are and where the needed resources are. We also open our international network to students and alumni who start their own businesses. They can attract foreign cooperators who can bring new ideas, new markets, or new investors. The European University is a platform which helps internationalize young business.
Access to high-quality educational resources should consider also laboratories. Many of the technology universities I know offer access to modern laboratory facilities in the field of ICT and to virtualized environment thanks to their cooperation with manufacturers, vendors, in the form of so-called affiliated academies linked to faculty or a university. The only academy that currently updates its laboratory facilities and equipment at the university is Huawei Ict Academy. This academy was established at Poznań University of Technology in November 2015. It also provides educational resources such as course instructions and virtualized environment. The Huawei Academy prepares for professional certifications. For the time being, the Academy's lab has devices that offer professional training aimed for preparing for the certifications in routing, switching, wireless LAN, security, cloud and storage. More than 200 students joined the Academy's program. In the area of cybersecurity solutions, the companies Checkpoint Software Technologies Limited and Palo Alto made interesting offer to our students in terms of supporting our students, also in the form of respective academies. Finishing the right courses and getting the pertaining professional certifications not only keeps students up to date, but also makes them learn about the new trends in the development of network management, maintenance, and security. Knowledge and skills gained the way can have a major impact of our students and graduates' position on the market and help them start their business activity early on, when the support of their home university can be extremely helpful. In conclusion, I believe that combining the current teaching content, modern teaching methods, the cooperation with other universities and ICT solutions providers, as well as the support at this stage of setting up their business activity, are the key elements that modern universities, which educate in broadly defined ICT, should offer their students. Thank you very much for your attention.
Thank you, gentlemen. Next, I would like to invite Mr. Marco Hsu, Senior Director of Public Affairs and Communication, CE and Nordic Region Huawei, to announce the future plan.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to launch of Huawei CE and Nordic ICT Academy Program 2.0. My name is Marco Hsu, Director of the Public Affairs and Communication, Huawei CE and Nordic Region. Before announce this program 2.0, I will summarize what we've done before in this ICT Academy. Huawei, in the past 20 years in Europe, we are not just provide the best solution and contribution to our partners and customers, but also cooperating with the academies to develop the ICT talent. Until, in the last 5 years, we have certified over 900 academies, 1,500 instructors, over 60,000 students globally. This year, because of the pandemic, make our life is more challenge. This academy is also, is more difficult to be implemented. Even in this difficult situation, over 40 top universities in our region certified Huawei ICT Academy. More than 2,000 students is certified through this program. Now I would like to introduce what will be the new in this ICT Academy program 2.0. First, we will invest $5 million in the next 5 years to certify more than 1,000 teachers and train over 10,000 students. This program, the first new is about the course. The course will be openly cooperated between Huawei and the local academies. All the courses will be shared and localized. Second thing is about all the courses will be remotely accessible by the instructors. So all the teachers can get this information in advance. Also get the suggestion from the experts from both Huawei and this industry to get the latest knowledge. The third one is about everything online and based on the cloud. So the instructors and also the students get all the information from the cloud platform. So they can get the information immediately. The last one is we will also support the students for the incentives. These incentives will support for instance, like ICT competition, technology clubs, events, even for the job fair, which will help the students get the better job offer after graduation. So what will be in the CE and Nordic region? I will be very honored to announce in the year 2021, we will cooperate more than 50 ICT academies with the universities, train more than 100 and certified academy instructors, open more than 100 ICT courses. This is a new course, and also train more than 2,000 students. I believe with this academies, instructors, course, and students, it will help CE and Nordic region train more talent. It's able to catch up the current quick development of the ICT industry and the digital economy. So in the last, I would like to welcome all the people, all the academies to join our ICT program. So you are fully welcome and to join our program 2.0. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Xu. And it's quite a plan for next 5-year talents development, I have to admit. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for staying with us for the first day of our annual event. We hope to meet you tomorrow when we'll continue on discussing the innovation for Europe.